Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of CLX Foundry Live. We're going deep inside an amazing new build today, and as you can see, it's already decorated right there. I'm your host, DJ BluePDX, and of course, joining me live from our studios in Wichita, Kansas, it is our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and today's master builder, Hayden Hutchinson.
What's up,
guys? You know what's fun? We have an amazing special guest that I want to talk about because this is from one of the biggest and longest. The game is absolutely massive. Welcome in the community manager for Star Citizen. It's JakeAcappella.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. How are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing very well. I'm very excited to be here.
Absolutely agree. We've got a really awesome case. This is going to be for our giveaway this month, which is rad. So yeah, so let's take a look at the artwork right here. I know it's just finished being done. Wow. Yeah, that actually looks really awesome.
There. And this back panel is really nice as well. Yeah, let's get a good shot of this.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice. That's so cool. All right, so the event is called Fight or Flight. Obviously, there's that's, you know, it's a term when you're in a panic. But tell us a little bit more about this event and what's going to be happening.
Sorry, guys. I am sending a raid your way. One sec.
Oh.
Say that question one more time. I'm sorry.
So obviously this is called Fight or Flight. What's behind the name? And what's this event?
So this event is a 2v2 tournament, dogfighting spaceships in atmosphere. And it's really cool because like being in atmosphere, it introduces a lot of variables that you don't really encounter in space. So it makes it a little bit harder to fly. You have to deal with wind and the terrain and everything else. Your ships are chosen for you, so you might not necessarily get something that you're used to. And it's super exciting. It's probably some of our most hype dogfights that I've seen in our game has been at this tournament the last couple of years.
Awesome. Well, this sounds absolutely amazing. By the way, welcome everybody from the Star Citizen stream. It's a great big raid. Glad to have you all here. For those of you that missed the introductions, I am DJ BluePDX. I'm the host here at CLX Gaming, and of course, on our right side right there is Paul Steffens, our lead technical expert, and today's master builder, it's Hayden Hutchinson.
What's up, guys?
So, welcome in.
Well,
good to meet all of you. Glad to have you here. So, Paul, let's talk about what we're going to be putting into this beautiful little box right there.
yeah, so starting out, we obviously have our O11 here. This is the mini Snow White edition with this custom print design on it. We'll go ahead and show the panels here in just a minute after we go through the parts and get this prepped. So starting out for our processor, we've got an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D. To cool that, we've got a CLX Quench 360 AIO. Our motherboard is going to be an ASUS B650 M+ Tough Gaming Wi-Fi. For our memory, we've got 32 gigs of DDR5 GKILL Trident Z5 speed, so that's going to be 2 sticks of 16 gig there. For our storage, we've got a Samsung 2 terabyte 980 Pro, really nice M.2 drive there. For our video card, we've got an MSI RTX 4070, 12 gigs of RAM on that card. We're going to put 9 case fans in this. And for our power supply, we've got a Silverstone SX750 80+ Platinum. So that's an SFX power supply, really small. We'll talk about that a lot too once we get into that part. So we'll start getting these panels off and get this case prepped and get going.
Awesome. So back to you, Jake. I got a couple questions. So first of all, let's talk about robertspaceindustries.com. That's the website you can go to get this. How do people get involved in Star Citizen?
Sure. So all you need to jump into Star Citizen is a starter package. It's $45 and it gets you the entire game, a ship to get started, and then everything else you can earn in game. But it kind of like unleashes you onto the universe. So you have an infinite amount of options in front of you. You can start racing ships. You can be a bounty hunter. You can start mining asteroids. You can kind of do whatever you want. But that's all you need to jump in is just that starter package, and it gets you going. From there, you can kind of jump in with a group. You can find an organization, whatever you want to do.
Awesome. I'll be honest, I got kind of lost looking at all the ships. There's so many different options because it's not just one starter package. There's multiple different tiers.
Yeah, totally. I always recommend just going with a base Aurora or Mustang. I'm actually more of a fan of the Mustang Alpha myself. It gives you enough firepower to get through a few combat missions. It's got some cargo in the back, so if you want to do delivery missions, you can do that too. So kind of gets you making money right away. So I'm always recommending the Mustang. But all the other ships you can just kind of purchase in game, so you can kind of upgrade from there if you'd like to. But there's I think we're starting to approach 200 vehicles in Star Citizen total.
What?
Yeah,
That
including
is awesome.
Including ground vehicles. So like things like speeder bikes and trucks and tanks and you name it. And then ships of all sizes from small like dogfighters like in our fighter flight tournament to massive battleships that can crew like a dozen people.
That's incredible. And so you can actually team up with your friends and to get into the game and actually basically man an entire ship.
Yeah, totally.
Staff an entire ship.
So there's like turret stations. So like on bigger ships, there might be like turrets where you can fire at other ships that are coming to attack you. One of the things we're working on right now is engineering gameplay. So you can fulfill your Scotty dreams of repairing the Enterprise. So that's in the works right now. So that's going to be really cool. And then of course like your pilot, your co-pilot, your captain, like all of those roles are there and ready for you.
Yeah, so this thing has its own ecosystem, like its own currency ecosystem as well.
Yeah, totally.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, that was it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Everything I keep saying about this. Of course, if you're coming in from the Space to Star Citizen raid, obviously you already know where to go. For those of you who are here with our channel and don't know about it, head on over to robertspaceindustries.com to find out more. So yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a great build. I do have a couple questions for the guys real quick. So we're gonna go back and forth between what they're doing with the build. Now, I noticed you're back there playing with things. So what are you moving?
So we have our motherboard. Once we get it out, I'll show you what's gonna happen. But so since our 360 radiator is gonna go on top, it will be crashing into our motherboard. So what I did is, this case is really cool. You can take off this entire back piece, and you can slide it down. So you're basically taking out one of your PCIe slots, well, two of them technically, pushing that down, putting in a filler slot, so that's going to move the board down a little bit. So now that when we put our motherboard in, we're going to have enough room to be able to have our 360 in as well. Yeah. Probably the coolest thing about this case.
Yeah, the back being modular is great. It's always kind of hard to get a 360 radiator into a small case, so it's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah. So, and by the way, for anybody who's just new to our show, it's a live build show. We walk people through the process of how to build a machine, and we're also here to answer questions. So if you've got questions, please throw them into the chat. I will get to them as quickly as possible. Elevator Guy asked if it comes with an operating system. And the answer is yes. Yes, it does.
Yes, it'll come with Windows 11 Home.
And it's just Windows, is that correct?
Yeah, Windows 11 Home, 64-bit. I don't even know if there's 32-bit anymore. We just used to saying 64-bit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I was going to try and go with that focus of also, when we ship this PC, all it has is Windows on it. There's no bloatware, there's no extra garbage. It's just Windows.
Yep, that's right.
It. Yep. All right, so let's chat about this motherboard real quick. It's a really cool one. It's an ASUS TUF Gaming B550, B650. And it's interesting because it's a TUF Gaming. Let's talk about the difference between the TUF series and other series, Paul.
Yeah, so the TUF Gaming is a little bit, I would say it's in between like your standard mid-tier board and like your high-end like ROG Maximus boards. It's a nice happy medium there if you don't need all the amenities of like the ROG boards, if you're not doing a lot of overclocking and anything like that. That still has really good components on it and just a lot of good features on it. So I really like the TUF series. Whenever I'm putting together a PC, this is like the category I go for.
Gotcha. All right, we're going to be putting in there, as you mentioned earlier, Ryzen 7 7800X3D processor. What stands out to you that's the most unique thing about this processor?
Yeah, so I would say the most unique thing about this is that 3D part. So our cache is actually stacked on top of the die itself. That's what that 3D means. It's kind of the first time that's ever been done. But other than that, it's an 8-core, 16-thread processor with a base speed of 4.2, and it'll boost up to 5.0. Really solid processor here. This 7800X3D is actually making me think about switching from Intel. So
From
maybe we'll go
Intel
Team
to
Red.
AMD, you're gonna make the jump.
Maybe so. We'll see.
Interesting. We did have a question coming in from Dead the Pool Man for Jake, and the question is are they planning on putting in any type of newer AI models into the game, like an NPC that would have the dialogue powered by an AI?
I don't think that's quite in the plans yet, but I know our AI team has definitely been looking at all that stuff for sure. But no like near-term plans for that stuff.
Gotcha. And of course, questions about the game, of course, are based on is this information available now? So just remember, everybody, that's what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So as far as the game itself, how long has this been in development?
So our Kickstarter was in October 2012 when it was fully funded. But back then it was only a team of about a dozen people, a little less than a dozen people. We are now a development force of over 1,000 strong worldwide. We have studios in North America, in Europe, in the UK, in Canada. Wow. And so, yeah, so it's gone all the way from just being like dogfighting in kind of like a deathmatch kind of mode, which we still have. It's called Arena Commander. Now it's a full star system with 4 planets, 12 moons, dozens of space stations, tons of points of interest, and the planets are full-size planets. So, like Microtech, for example, has the surface area of Canada, roughly. So wow. It's it's a real giant planet that you can kind of explore however you want. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Speaking of amazing, let's talk about how we're going to be cooling this amazing processor. We're going to be using a CLX Quench, I believe, the Quench 360 closed liquid cooler. So let's talk about that, and let's talk about what you got in your hand there, Hayden.
Oh, I have some Arctic Silver 5 thermal paste. Some of the best thermal paste. And the CPU is going to get a little toasty. So that is just going to help it cool it down and make sure that it provides the performance it's going to use.
Nice. Awesome. And as far as the closed liquid cooler, Paul, can we talk about the different ways you can cool a CPU?
Yeah, so you've got pretty much 2 main ways to cool your CPU. You've got air cooling and liquid cooling. So air cooling is typically that block of metal with fins cut into it and a fan on top. Sometimes that comes with CPUs. It used to come with every one of them, not so much now. But other than that, we have liquid cooling. So we're using a closed loop system here that you can see. This is an AIO. So what that means is all-in-one. All the coolant is already in this from the factory. All we have to do is make sure we're using the right hardware for the chipset that we've got, and we can install it. These AIOs are great. I mean, you can see how easily Hayden's got this on here. Very easy to install and gives you great cooling as well.
Excellent. Let's see here. We've got people who've in here who've been with you since the original Kickstarter. That's awesome. So 10 years.
Yeah, super cool.
Absolutely incredible. So when you get the game, is it a downloadable, or is it played over a browser?
It's downloadable. Yeah, it's a full client. Like have our own launcher and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get this game. It just looks amazing. Looks amazing.
Yeah, and whenever you if you're curious about the game and you're maybe wary about jumping in right away, you don't want to commit the $45. Every so often we do a free fly, we call it, or the game is completely 100% free to play for about a week and a half.
Oh, there we go.
So if you want to jump in and give it a shot, we usually give you one of the upgraded ships to test out. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for those. We do them every couple months or so.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll definitely keep my eyes out for that one. And of course, if people want to keep track of what's going on, what's your social media for Star Citizen?
So, so some of the best ways to keep in touch with us is on Twitter. We're Roberts Space IND. So Roberts Space Industries, just abbreviated. And then we just launched our TikTok about a year and a half ago. That's been doing super well, and it's doing our content on there is amazing. Shout outs to Galactica, our social media manager. We're at Star Citizen on TikTok. And those are the two best places. Of course, you can hang out on our website too. We have our own forum called Spectrum, where we have all the latest news and updates too.
Awesome. I see a mention that there was to use a referral code.
Yes, yeah. If you use a friend's referral code, you get an extra 5,000 in-game credits when you sign up, and the person who referred you also gets some bonuses too. Nice.
Johnny Mendoza asks, when will Squadron 42 be available to purchase again from the RSI website?
We're working on that right now. No updates on that currently.
Shark bite. Well, just use this one. There you go.
You have to need one. Shark bite's got you covered.
That's hilarious. That's great. Right, it's worth a shot. Couldn't hurt. Speaking of things that can hurt or can't hurt, don't put your fingers in fans. Speaking of those fans, let's talk about what we're doing with them on the radiator and how that's going to affect the cooling.
Yeah, so we are mounting our fans to the radiator now. It's just a lot easier to do this while the AIO is outside of the case. We've got these in a method where we're going to be pushing air through the radiator and it'll be out the top of the case. So this is the push method. If we had them on this way but on the other side, that would be pulling, so we'd be pulling air through. Always better to push through, but if you're in a spot, if the case you're using kind of forces you to have to pull air through, that's okay too. It's just preferred to be pushing it.
Gotcha. Yep, we did in fact, we did a push-pull on mine. That's the one behind me.
Yeah.
We've got, so it's 6 fans on the 360, and it's actually, it's what's that we call vertical mounting.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it being on the top, it's actually on the back of the case, which is really interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I love those
so
fans.
If you've got,
they're gorgeous.
These things look great. Yeah, they look awesome when they're on. And
yeah,
if you've got room in your budget and in the case, and you want to do a push-pull, by all means, that's a good way to do it as well.
Yep, the lights on mine actually I have the same fans, and they have a mode where you can actually get them to be a solid color, and then they just blink like stars. And since mine is based off of the planet Earth, obviously, you can see that they're blinking down below. Take a look at the atmosphere is actually alive under the clouds. They're a lot of fun. You're gonna be able to do a lot of things with these fans. Mm-hmm. Let's just reading through the questions real quick. Worth a shot. More codes. Congratulations. Yeah. So real quick, so everybody understands what how the codes work. Not the referral codes, but the codes that you're going to be seeing in here. What we do is you type !give ATMO 2, and that's going to take you to the link that allows you to sign up for the giveaway. Now, there's a whole bunch of different ways to qualify. You can follow the different options in there, and then you're going to see a little spot down below that says bonus code. So that bonus code you're going to be able to get anywhere from on this stream, over on my stream, on our social media at that's CLX Gaming at YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and then of course on our Kick stream, which we do on Tuesdays, and it's just kick.com/CLX Gaming. So lots of different places to be. Okay, so where are we at now? I did see the notice that you put in the RAM. As far as the RAM for this machine is, you mentioned this earlier, it is 2 gigs of GKILL DDR5-6000. This is actually the same RAM that I have in my machine, and it's awesome. It's fairly fast too.
Yeah, we've got 2 sticks of 16 gigs, so a total of 32 gigs, DDR5 6000 speed. DDR5 is obviously the leading edge right now, great performing memory, and then we'll also have a couple slots open for if whoever gets this wants to upgrade later in the future.
More upgrade slots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you're going to need to upgrade it to DDR5.
Yeah, for sure. You shouldn't
Insanely
need to
fast.
for a long time.
So Winter501st asks, open circuit or closed circuit cooling build?
So this is a closed, I'm going to assume it means closed
Yeah.
loop.
Think
This is a closed loop build. So what that means, all the coolant is already in here. I mean, you know, you don't have to pop off the tubes or do anything. You just use the mounting hardware that matches your motherboard and you're good to go. We do also often open loop systems as well. Hayden is primarily the main person that does that, although we've got a few guys learning it right now. And we've done a couple on those shows. So that's where we actually bend the tubes, come up with a whole custom design for your build.
They're a lot.
They look great.
I think it's time for another one.
Yeah, we should get another one on here.
It is a lot of fun. Let's see here. Is the RAM overclocked? Asks Hero Brian. And you know, you can request that overclocking be done when you're ordering a PC from us for both your CPU or your GPU.
Yeah, we don't offer overclocking on the RAM. This is, you know, we have a bunch of different speeds that you can choose from, but overclocking memory, at least in my experience, it can get pretty. It's hard to get it very stable when you're overclocking memory, and I don't really see the performance gain for doing it. So
it definitely can be done.
Yeah, it
but
can be done.
I only would ever do like one up from the normal speed.
Yeah.
If anything. But
I'm just reading back up. Captain Thorpe said I bought a PC once and they tried the push-pull method. They installed double-stack fans facing each other. That could be a problem.
yeah, don't do that.
That seems fairly counterproductive.
Yeah.
Extra performance.
Maybe it was cold in their room and they just wanted to keep it warm.
How's it going, Captain Kate? Good to see you. Let's see here. They want system stability with... Okay, got it. Just reading through these things. The typo in the GA says Thirstmaster. Well,
yeah, actually, the processor you guys are using for this one has performed amazingly in Star Citizen. I've heard nothing but good things from our creators. I haven't used it myself, but especially for our game for sure.
Nice. I'm going to be playing it on a 13900K F.
Nice. I haven't used Intel in a while, so my own personal experience is lacking on Team Blue's side.
Yeah, I game on Intel, but all of my production machines and everything I use for music is all on AMD. So I have a little bit of each flavor. All right.
I see.
Now we're getting the rest of these.
Asking about XMP. I just want to talk about that
XMP
for a little bit.
is
Yes.
something that we do
Yeah.
kinda want.
Oh, yeah.
We do that. That's our first step of the testing process, where we get into the BIOS, and that's where we look at XMP and storage devices and all that good stuff. So.
Now I noticed we missed the part where you already installed the 2 terabyte Samsung 980 Pro NVMe M.2 SSD, which plugs right into the motherboard. It's got its own heat shield on there as well. We go through what different types of hard drives there are and which ones, you know, and what the difference is.
Yeah, so for storage, you've kind of got two categories, kind of like cooling. You've got HDDs or hard disk drives, the big blocky things we've all seen. Then you've got SSDs, which are solid state drives. Now there used to be a couple versions of SSDs, and there still are. You have a 2.5 inch or an M.2, but pretty much everything switched over to M.2, the little almost like sticks of gum looking drives. So
Hey, I'm about to buy 4 hard drives.
yeah. So the M.2s, just the speed is crazy fast on them. And just when we started switching over to SSDs from hard disk drives, the biggest thing was obviously your boot times, just when booting up your PC, going from a couple minutes to a couple seconds. And then obviously if you've got room on there, you can put a game or two on there and not have to worry about loading times.
Your main games on your M.2.
Yeah, for sure.
I do see a lot of people mentioning that it's ideal for it to be on an SSD. What's your experience been, Jake?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely put Star Citizen on an SSD at minimum, like the SATA SSDs if you can. NVMe is obviously going to be even better performance, but with Star Citizen, we don't have load screens except the first one. So
nice.
reducing
Nice.
that load time is ideal. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I remember trying to run Star Citizen off an HDD right when I first got it back in 2014, and it took like 5 minutes to load the game, and now it's more like a minute.
That's incredible. Speaking of things that are incredible, you also noticed that there was another logo on that machine, and that is ATMO esports. And coming in from ATMO esports, we've got Crucian. In a moment. There he is. Hey, buddy. What's up?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Are you doing good?
Doing good.
Excellent. We've been over here talking with Jake about all things Star Citizen, which is awesome. So you're with ATMO esports. Let's talk a little bit about how ATMO esports fits into Star Citizen's community.
Well, first of all, I'll say is that thanks, Jake, for joining us here at CLX Gaming on the stream. Really appreciate it. Love having Jake. Jake is an icon in the Star Citizen community, so happy to have you, my friend. So had to show him the love there a little bit.
I'll put that on my LinkedIn icon. It's my new job title.
So yeah, ATMO esports. So over the past 5 years, ATMO esports has been the competitive platform within Star Citizen, creating pretty much immersive and competitive events. And we've been doing this for, again, 5 years. We've been running events from PvP to dogfighting to racing to endurance racing to actually competitive racing, and we have a lot more coming down the pipeline as the game develops. Our events kind of how do you say, they adjust to the game's development, and we make either the events way more immersive and a lot better. So and we actually recently announced we have the first LAN tournament ever. We're actually working with Jake on this and the community team. The first ever 2v2 dogfighting LAN tournament is going to be at CitizenCon. So, I'm going to put it in. If you guys are not going to be at CitizenCon, you're doing it wrong, because that tournament is going to be fantastic. It's going to be one of the first ones ever, and I'm super excited for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. I've been a fan of ATMO for longer than I've been an employee at CIG. So, like, it's really awesome working with them to get this going, and it's going to be a really good show.
So as I'll just be honest, as I'm sitting here looking through all the ships, because I was like, all right, I'm just going to get my package right now. You weren't kidding when you were like, there are some huge ships. When you look at the size of the Freelancer and the Constellation Andromeda starter pack, like
those are nothing. There's
enormous.
ships much larger than that.
What?
Yeah, there's I think the largest ship in the game right now is the 890 Jump, and the 890 Jump is, you could probably it crews about a half dozen people, but I've seen because it's basically a yacht, so people threw a party on it when we increased our server sizes. And they were able to put like 100 people on the ship and like throw like a party.
Oh my gosh, that's actually amazing.
Yeah, shout out to Morphologist for that one. If you go on his channel, you could probably find some footage of it.
That is great. One thing I do want to point out about the case, obviously we're using an O11 by Lenly. It's an O11 mini, but there's a door I'm noticing on the back right there. Paul, what does that door go to, and why is that important?
Yeah, so right here, behind this thumb screw, this is our storage trays. So we've got 2 trays in here. These you can either mount a 2.5-inch or a 3.5-inch drive to these. So extra storage there if you need it.
That is awesome. And that's also nice because this is what we call a 2/3 design. So as you can see, the motherboard doesn't sit completely on the back of the case. How does that work, and how does that affect the airflow and temperature control?
Yeah, so that 2/3 design, like you mentioned, obviously, this is where our motherboard's sitting right here, the back of our motherboard. So having all this extra room in the back, that's where we're going to put our power supply, and obviously any extra storage devices like we showed. Kind of keeps the power supply out of the main area of the case and allows you to have a really clean tie-up, less restrictions to airflow, all that good stuff. Really just an overall clean look once we're done with it.
Nice. Awesome. I also like the fact this case has grommets on it, because it just makes it that much cleaner when you get the cable management coming through there. So, Jake, what is your favorite ship in the game?
Oh, this changes often.
I think
So there's a difference between my favorite and my daily driver. So my favorite ship is the Prowler, because I think it's just the coolest looking ship that we have ever made, ever. And currently my daily driver, I think, is back to the Asperia Talon. because I've been doing a lot of bounty hunting, and size 4 guns on that thing are just beautiful. So I really like it. It has a lot of really nice vertical thrust, so it kind of flies like a hummingbird rather than a plane. It's super fun to fly. I've been flying the Fury a lot lately though, and that thing's just like a little bumblebee flying around. It's basically just a seat with an engine and gun strapped to it. So yeah, I've been loving the Fury for sure.
That's there's just some absolutely massive and incredible ships on here.
Yeah. What I always recommend for people, I think, like if you're first starting out and you're like, maybe I want to upgrade from the base starter package. The one I always recommend is either the Avenger Titan or the Drake Cutter. Those are kind of the two ships that I usually recommend. I usually go for the Avenger a little bit more because it's got a really nice set of weaponry on it, so you can defend yourself pretty easily.
Perfect. Awesome.
Harold Bryan says not the Cutlass. The Cutlass is a little bigger, so that's like if you have like a friend you're playing with, you could probably upgrade to a Cutlass because then there's like room for like a turret and stuff like that. But yeah,
absolutely. Crucian, how about you? What's your favorite vehicle in the game?
Oh man, I have a ton. Honestly, my favorite one has always been the F8 Lightning. I actually got that painted on a tempered glass on one of my PCs.
Nice.
One of my wall-mounted ones. So the F8 Lightning is by far will always be my favorite ship. But currently in game right now, I really like to fly the Mercury Star Runner. It's just very great overall, very great for maneuverability. If you put a certain quantum drive on there, you can get from planet to planet fairly quickly. So I think that's my all go-to ship as of right now. And then for dogfighting, obviously one of my favorite ones is always going to be the Saber, which it's
people sleep on the Saber.
Yes, it can
people
definitely
sleep on it.
It can definitely defend itself. And then I saw a quick question in chat. Somebody's asking if ATMO will ever go outside of Star Citizen and run any other games. No, my passion is in Star Citizen, and I don't want to go anywhere else. So yeah, that's all I got.
Which is awesome. Everybody's seems like everybody's loving this game. Paul and Hayden, how about you? Have you ever played Star Citizen?
I have not, but ever since I heard about it, I've been wanting to.
Yeah, I have not either. I've always heard about it, but didn't know much about it until that last build we did for ATMO.
Yeah, listen. As soon as I heard you can hook up an iPad, I started doing some research. I have an iPad Mini, so if I can actually.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because Crucian, in the last ATMO esports giveaway we did with you all, there was an iPad included in it because it uses a specific software. What is that, and how does that work?
So that software in the last giveaway, that was from GameGlass. So pretty much GameGlass uses the hotkeys that are in Star Citizen and then puts it on a platform that's touchscreen controls, and you can pretty much immerse yourself in those same hotkeys that the game uses. So for instance, the game has, for combat-wise, you can actually power different things on the ship. So you can either push power to boost, or you can put power to weapons so you can shoot more. So actually, you can actually, going to touchscreen controls, it's called Game Glass, you can actually move it around and kind of like, adjust the power settings of your ship in real time in a touchscreen. If not, you'll have to like hold on F, look at the MFD in your ship, and then change it from there, or use a hotkey as to where you can actually have a visualization outside of the game that you can actually move and change it. So yeah,
it basically imitates the ship's HUD, like the HUD that's on like the ship itself, like your dashboard. So it looks just like it, and you can control it in nearly the exact same way. But yeah, fulfill your fantasy of yelling more power to the shields and being able to do that stuff. So yeah.
Sasko has a question for Crucian. It says, do you get your name/gamer tag on the jersey if you win?
Yes, you do actually. Whatever you want, once it's appropriate. Just like how Jake shows, Jake has his own. So yeah, you'll have your own gamer tag, whatever you want. on there, I have no problem. So these are the jerseys that we actually put together for all of our events. We actually have designs every single year. So this year was topography. The year before was a blackout theme. So every year we kind of have, you know, the same events, but we just kind of change the merch around so it's fresh. And we have so many people in the community that ends up collecting these jerseys or shirts or whatever we put out, and it's been a thing for a few years now, and which I think it's awesome.
That's amazing. I'm still fascinated over the whole Game Glass thing. Just because,
It's awesome.
Like
Yeah.
when I know when they were when they filmed one of the shows for Halo, inside usually they're always green screen control pads. Instead, they basically took iPads and Surfaces and attached them and mounted them inside, so there was actual touchscreen interfaces to work with, which was wild to me. Wild. So I'm glad to hear that's something that's
Yeah.
there.
One of the great things about Star Citizen is we're very controller agnostic. So like you can use a gamepad, you can just use mouse and keyboard if you want. You can use Game Glass, you can use joysticks and throttles, you can use somebody in chat mentioned voice attacks, so you can use voice commands in Star Citizen. Really anything you want, you can kind of do. So it's really, really cool.
Did you just say voice attack?
Yeah.
How does that work?
So you know how I was like, you can say more power to the shields? You can literally say more power to the shields.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'll tell you what else is awesome right now is all the fans going in. Paul, it's real quick. Can you walk me through the airflow and what's our ins and what's our outs?
Yeah, so you can see Hayden putting in our last intake fans there. We're going to have 3 intake fans in the bottom and 2 back here that Hayden's installing right now. And then for exhaust, we got the ones on our radiator and then one right here in the rear that you can see. So that's a total of 9 fans.
That's awesome. So this is definitely be a positive pressure system.
Yep. It's going to be a slightly positive pressure system. Pretty close to balanced out, but yeah, slightly positive.
Nice. And by positive pressure, can you describe what that means for people who might not understand why that's important?
Yeah, so that means that we've got more air coming into the case than we do have coming out. If we had it maybe in the opposite configuration where we had more fans exhausting than intaking, that would create a vacuum. I'm not really too particular on either way. I prefer going positive pressure because when you have a vacuum in your system, if you go with the negative pressure, dust will kind of get in all these little cracks and crevices, then your filter won't be able to catch those. So that's why I like going with the positive pressure.
Nice. Real quick, we did have a question coming in from Sasko. Asked, can you call your ship number 1?
Eventually you'll be able to name your ships. So yeah, totally.
Oh, that is absolutely incredible. By the way, a huge shout out and thank you for the gift sub to Jake from Senalaya. That's incredibly kind. Senalaya, apologies. There we go.
Senalaya is our chronic gifter in our community.
Chronic gift.
He'll roll around to everybody's streams and he's like the sugar plum fairy.
That's great. Zombie Raid came in with another subscription with Prime. Thank you so much. We appreciate all the support. Glad to have you here. I did see apparently that because Ultimate Loser mentioned Ultimate Loser is who won the last ATMO esports giveaway.
Ultimate winner.
Yeah, Ultimate Winner is basically what we've
changed the
nicknamed
name.
him.
He's coming back for round 2.
Yeah,
you're gonna get the
he was
dueling
so
PCs.
jazzed.
The dual Atmos.
Right? Here we go. Glad you made it there, Zombie. Glad you made it. Okay. To jump back over to the PC side of the build, I do want to talk a little bit about that tiny box that's in Paul's hand right now. Paul, what is that?
So this is our power supply. Now, obviously, this is very tiny, a lot smaller than what you're used to seeing. This is a SFX form factor. So with this being such a small case, we have to use a smaller power supply because a bigger one just won't fit. So this is a fully modular 80 plus platinum, meaning none of the cables are pre-installed or soldered in. You can see all these ports right here. So we're just going to use the cables that we need for the system. All the rest will be in the accessories in case whoever gets it needs them for later on. But modular is definitely the way to go if you can.
Yeah, and that is, of course, a Silverstone SFX. It is a 750 watt power supply. So that's got plenty of power for everything that we're going to need to have in here.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Now we're getting those all the cables out and getting that ready. We do have a little game that we like to play here, and that is to try and figure out, I mean, just for hoops and giggles, to try and figure out how many zip ties that Hayden uses by the end of the build. So keep an eye out and see what you can come up with for a final number on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so as far as to jump back, I'm so fascinated by Star Citizen. To come back to the game and the community, you're obviously the community manager for this. And so where's the best place to get involved with the community?
Honestly, just jumping in game is the best way.
Okay.
And like anybody will tell you that that our community is incredibly helpful and welcoming to new players. They'll show you around the verse. They'll show you all their ships and kind of how to navigate. That's honestly the best way to get involved. And then from there, finding an organization that kind of aligns with your play style. There's like organizations that are like combat medics. There's organizations that run security. And actually, to kind of speak on organizations, there's tons of organizations that kind of come together for events like the ones that ATMO puts on. And that's probably one of the most impressive things about not only ATMO's events, but all of our community events is so think about it this way. A race in most video games would just be a race. You get in your vehicle, you drive, you go fast, you have a winner. In Star Citizen, we're a breathing universe, so you kind of have to worry about things like pirates or people coming to crash the party.
There'll be pirates in your game, you say.
Yes, and those pirates aren't NPCs; they're other players. So you have to kind of worry about those things as you're going through. So for an event like, say, the Daymar Rally, you not only need the participants in the event, you need security to protect against the pirates. You need cargo ships to bring the vehicles to the race event. You need those cargo ships also to refuel and restock those vehicles. You need medical facilities in case somebody crashes. There's an immense amount of logistics that goes into events like this. And that's probably the coolest part about our community events is it's not just the event itself. It's all of the things around it that all come together in our community to make those things happen. It's awesome.
Oh, that's just sounds amazing.
Yeah, and only 1D Shot says, has there ever been a disruption in an ATMO event? I think there's one every time. If like just about every time. But the best part is you guys have top-notch security folks who are working those events. So it's really awesome to see that happen.
To kind of piggyback on that, like you'll never see a disruption on our event because we don't really give it the Day of Light. We just want to make sure that the people who are getting the Day of Light are the competitors and the people that are, have signed up for the tournament and the people that are competing. So you'll never see that entire, back end. You'll never see our cameras go to like, switch to a fight or any of that stuff. Like we just want to make sure that the competitors are getting the, the light of day during our tournament. So, but I mean, we've had it. There's a reason why Star Citizen is an emergent environment. So, if people want to come pirate us, then hey man, we got security to kind of tackle that and fight back. So it's a very cool experience to see it all happening at the same time.
By the way, I regifted a sub to Nicole, which means, by the way, hi Nicole, which means we've got a hype train. We've got a level 2 hype train. We've got so much hype right now.
Nice.
So, right? That's going to be fun. Let's see here. Hopefully security will always outnumber / outskill the disruptors. Well, you know what? That is always a hope, I would think.
Well, that's the cool part about Star Citizen too, is like the push and pull, the back and forth, and just like having to deal with being like a true sandbox like that. It's awesome.
I think that is so cool, just from like an outsider's point of view, that you can like have this event and then other people will like try to crash it, so you get security for that.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It's pretty slick.
Yeah, and that's like kind of why like there's so many different kinds of ships in Star Citizen, is it like fills all of those different needs that I mentioned. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention kind of the most important thing for Atmos events is they also have camera crews. So there's ships flying around, and actually like it's not just from the perspective of the racers. There's people flying in ships around the races to like keep track of all that stuff too. So like yeah, the camera ships is really, really cool.
That is really fun. You guys just pretty much thought about everything.
Yeah, I mean, and we're still going. Like, there's way more stuff that is coming down the pipe, but yeah, it's pretty cool so far.
That is great. I'll tell you what else is great is the cable management we're doing here. Let's not try to ignore you guys. I just realized that we've been talking about the game so much. We weren't really talking about the build yet. So as far as cable management, where is this all going to be located, and how does that help maintain a cooler temperature in your device?
Yeah, so in the O11 Mini, you only have so much room. There we go. So much room to work with. So you can see this big section right here. I say big, it's a little small. But that's all going to get covered up by this panel. So you basically got to make sure that everything is tucked up behind this panel. And so since I have already prepped my fan wires and my fan box, I got that flat up against the back of it. Now I can just work on the rest of the cables and then put the power supply in and put the panel on. That'll be good.
That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Well, I'll be honest, you guys convinced me. And hot train success. There we go. You convinced me, and I'm installing the game right now. I just got my starter package. Yes.
Awesome. Welcome to the verse.
And Crucian already gave me a ship as an extra, and so I've got two. I can go play.
Oh,
with
what'd you get?
He gave me the, let's see, it's downloading now. Let me go back to the main page. I've got Pledge Store. There we go. You
gotta go to hangar. You gotta go to your hangar, and then you'll see it. Yeah.
So I have the Aurora, and then because I already had the Aurora, and I was like, all right, so I'm gonna get the package. Let me, grab this get this other one. So I picked up the, I believe the Mustang.
Nice.
So I have the Mustang Alpha. Oh, there's shaders and combos and things you can add to the order that are just little things here and there. I can see how that can stack up, but I'm excited because it's gonna look cool. So it is actually installing now. In fact, I'm thinking I might actually just play that today on stream.
You should. You should. By the way, like the way DJ transitions from talking from one thing to the next, I gotta commend you on that every single time.
It's
I'm
incredible,
on here, dude. It's the best time of the show. It's like, well, talking about the cable management and just jumping over there so quickly, man. But I do want to say something about CLX. I want to say a big thank you to the entire team, because the entire team has really came on board. I mean, I know George has been a big fan of Star Citizen for so long, and then I think we had our first talk back in like December, and then all of a sudden, like when I talked to him about a little bit about ATMO esports, it just lit that fire. Like, wait, you guys are doing this now, and you haven't called me about it? Because I've known George for so long. So I just want to say thanks to the entire CLX team, to the computer techs that are building the PC. I know I call you computer techs, because if I call you computer builders, I feel like that's a bad word for you guys. So I wanted to make it a little bit more, more technical, because I think you guys deserve that, because not everybody can build a PC. So I also want to say a big thank you from everybody, from the community team to, again, the the PC technicians, to the marketing team. Thank you guys, because you guys are really helping us spread the word about Star Citizen and how incredible this game can be, how incredible it's gonna be, and how insane it's gonna be here when we continue doing our events. So thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're happy to do
and
it.
I agree.
Yeah, like when I first saw the design for the first PC, it was insane. And the fact that I haven't heard about this game upset me, because like this is a game that I've kind of been wanting forever.
Yeah.
And that it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely fun. I love it. So let's uh-oh, that's what I was looking for. I want to go in here to the Give Atmo 2 real quick and talk a little bit about what's going to be in this package. So there we go. Thank you, Twisted. On top of it, nicely done. Possibly. Come on, catch up. It's not sending the link.
Oh, I think it's because there's a 0 in there.
There we go.
There we go. Different O.
So, of course, so this comes with for this giveaway, we've got the CLX Scarab, obviously the Atmo Star Citizen custom design. You're also going to get a Thrustmaster and Game Advantage bundle, plus Atmo Star Citizen and Gamer Advantage and that bundle in there. So, huge, awesome giveaway. Many different ways to get started. Now,
Yeah.
for the Thrustmaster, let's talk about, is it like joystick controls, or are we talking about the actual wheel?
So from our last event, we actually did, from the last giveaway, we actually did a wheel because that entire event was based around racing. So that's why we kind of, made that package a little bit custom for kind of racing, and that's why we entered a wheel. But this time around, our this build or his team around our PvP tournament called Fight or Flight, where some of the most popular controls is called Hosas, which is hand stick on stick. So we're going to be giving away a couple of Thrustmaster T16000M, which are some of the best entry-level dual sticks on the market, along with one of the best rudder pedals that Thrustmaster owns, which rudder pedals can control, depending on how you want it, the yaw and pitch of these ships. So
Okay.
You'll be able to
set up
have
for roll.
full control of your ship just with those 3 items right there.
That is awesome. Absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be fun. So I guess I know what I'm playing today.
A pro tip as a new player, it should kind of funnel you in this way, but start it like you get a choice of 4 different starting locations. Start in area 18, because we actually just set up a kind of a new player guided experience.
Yes.
In that location, so it kind of walks you through kind of the basics. So definitely check that out. I think the game just kind of prompts you to do it, but yeah, it's brand new. I've only done it once, so
That is awesome.
yeah.
Absolutely awesome. I'm actually gonna pause that so that it doesn't screw up my ability to be on screen with everything else, because I don't want this to look weird and me be choppy. All right, so area 18. How many different areas are there?
Area 18 is the name of like a small section on our planet that's basically Coruscant.
Okay.
So there's the 4 places that you can start are Area 18, which is on the planet ArcCorp, Lorville, which is on the planet Hurston, New Babbage, which is on the planet Microtech, or Orison, which is on the planet Crusader. Orison's really cool if you like Star Wars. If you wanted to hang out in Cloud City in a video game, we kind of made that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's really, really cool. I really love Orison. It just takes a while to get out of Crusader's atmosphere, but other than that, it's a great place. Orison also has a lot of your ship upgrades like right there at one of the shops. So it's a good place to get started.
Nice. And of course, Moonbiter says, no, go to Lorville.
Yeah, everybody's got their preference. I actually have been starting at Lorville mostly recently, but yeah, they all 4 of them have their merits. But everybody has their preference for sure.
I'll be less likely to
Lorville's
go there.
a little. Lorville's Lorville's kind of leaning more on like the dystopian Blade Runner aesthetic.
Oh,
almost.
nice.
Like Area 18 is like the nicer parts of Blade Runner, and Lorville's like the not nice parts of Blade Runner, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Lorville is sketchy. 100%. It's sketchy.
Let's see here. And the Easy Tunes asks, Grim next start when? Oh.
Oh, listen, I would love nothing more, but I don't think that's in the plans currently, unfortunately.
Oh man, they're trying to get all the information they can right now.
I know.
I do want to bring, Roman mentions, Roman or Vita says, it's very important to keep this in mind. The game is very work in progress. It keeps getting better and better, but it may be too rough for some. I've been a tester for everything from Destiny to Halo, so I hear you. And those test builds can be, can be very funky, but that's also part of how the developers get that feedback, is being able to provide constructive feedback to them. Hey, this works. I know that when it comes to me, when we were doing our stuff for Halo, it was very much, when you encounter a problem, make sure that you articulate it specifically. It's you smart feedback. It's like, this crap doesn't work over here. That is not helpful. That tells us nothing.
What's really great about kind of like how we're doing, like, because we're crowdfunded, we're still crowdfunded to this day. We don't have a publisher, so like the people we answer to are the people who play our game. So we're on the, like, it makes my job very important, but we also have a dedicated player experience team that also like will dive into the forums and check out feedback. But also we have this awesome thing called the Issue Council, where you can report bugs, and it goes straight into our tasking software. Like once it's been confirmed as a bug. So yeah, people have been shaping the game with us for the last 8 or 9 years. So it's really awesome to see. Like even just like the last set of mining changes were all basically crowdsourced from the community. So yeah, it's really, really cool.
Speaking of things that are really, really cool, the fans on this MSI RTX 4070 graphics card that we just popped in there. Paul, let's talk about this graphics card real fast, as you already put it in there, because I got some questions for you. First of all, how heavy did that feel?
It's a very light card.
Yeah, this is a very light card for a 4070. This is the MSI Ventus version, so we've got 2 fans on there, nice backplate. You can see Hayden plugging in the one 8-pin connector. 12 gigs of RAM on this. Really solid card. 4070 is a great one to go with.
Well, and that seems a little bit shorter than some of the other cards that we've seen come out.
Yeah, this MSI model is a little bit shorter. Still a 2-slot card, but it's a great fit for this build since this is a smaller case. It fits in there nicely, and the aesthetic matches the tough really nice.
Awesome. So is 4070 going to be, well, obviously it's going to be quite efficient enough to do this. As far as PC specs, for people who might be wondering how much, what kind of a system do I need to have to end up running a game as robust as this?
Yeah, your graphics card isn't as important for Star Citizen as your CPU is right now. There's a lot of entities in Star Citizen that the CPU needs to handle. So the better CPU you can get, the better. The big things that I've been recommending to people to make sure you have minimum is go for 32 gigs of RAM and make sure you're on an SSD.
There we go.
Like splurge for the NVMe if you can. It'll make your life so much better with this game.
One thing to note, you saw what Paul handed Hayden, and that was the vent, your filter. There's a filter on the bottom, and there's just also a filter on the top, which is magnetic. Paul, how does that work?
Yeah, so let me grab it real quick. I've got it stuck to our top panel. So basically, on all the panels on this case, the back panel and obviously the top, you've got these magnetic dust filters. So since they're magnetic, you just pop them on there like that, line them up, and you're good to go. So if you ever want to clean your case, you just pull the panels off and just pull this off, wipe it down, rinse it off, whatever you want to do, and just throw it back on there. The magnetic filter design is just really, it's super convenient to clean and maintain.
It's nice.
And we've just got a couple more cables to tie up here, and then we will be good to throw the panels back on.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Well, that's great. So we can get it all filtered. I mean, do our spaceships need filters? I'm just going to be honest.
Listen, we're working on life support systems right now, so.
Okay, awesome. No worries. So, and of course, we just wanted to say, since we know where to go and get our ships there, we would love to. I'm just going to tell you right now, for those of you who don't know how to get a hold of our PCs, check it out. CLXgaming.com is the name of our website, and it's going to be super fun. So, right now we're getting everything tested up, and looks like we're getting that finally hooked up. Now, here's the real question: how many zip ties do you think Hayden's used?
It's always the same every build, like 45. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, the
You'd
last
be
time
correct.
we the last time that we did this, somebody actually guessed right up front, and they got to help him choose a tattoo.
I'm going with 15.
You're gonna go with 15. We've got 19, 15, 17. A lot of 15s, a lot of 17s. Ultimate losers is 7.
All right. We will start putting these panels back on, and we'll be good to go. 17, you said?
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Was that the
17.
guess?
Yeah.
13.
Oh.
13 is the correct answer.
Ah.
Nice.
13.
Nice.
First person to have chose that was Arc Cygnus. Arc Cygnus, congratulations, you're the first person to guess 13. You win our respect and appreciation.
You get a cookie.
Big win.
Yes. Yeah. Lucky number
Hey,
13.
Fortunately, I do have to sign off, so I'm going to say my quick goodbyes, and I'll leave you guys with Jake. You guys are in great hands with Jake. Again, another very great icon in the Star Citizen community, so make sure you guys show him some love and give him a follow, because he's just a great guy. But once again, thanks to the CLX team. Really appreciate all you guys. The last winter was so ecstatic about this, and to have our branding on a PC and our I don't even have words, man. Just thank you all so much. I really do appreciate it. And again, if you guys want to come check us out and want to get into Star Citizen or want to check out some very competitive tournaments, atmo.gg is where you can find us, and come check us out. So, but thank you to DJ as well. I appreciate you, my friend, and hopefully
Much
I'll
love,
see you
dude.
soon.
Absolutely. Hope so too.
Thanks,
All
everyone.
right. And I will say, speaking of that, and huge thank you to Crucian. Speaking of Arc Cygnus is incredible. Yes, that means we've got a code, people. A code alert. ATMO2-JUDU. Judu. It's like a planet name. Ooh, name a planet Judu.
We could do that.
It's going to be for the first 100 people. There are 2 different ways that the codes work. We have them, some that are limited, so you've got to be paying attention to the streams. And when that happens, then you can get in there. We have ones that are unlimited, which means everybody gets to use it. And those are usually worth 200 entries. So you're going to see them in different volumes coming back and forth on all of our different social medias and streams. And of course, this show will go back to its normal time next week at Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesdays on Kick, Thursdays here on Twitch. It always starts at 11 a.m. Pacific. That's 2 Eastern. And you can find us on both places. Look at that top design.
Oh, that's so sick.
What? So what, can I ask what inspired that?
So,
It looks like
Crucian
topography.
could probably speak to this more than I can, because he definitely designed it.
Okay.
But I think that's the topography of Daymar,
Okay.
which is a moon in Star Citizen. It's one of Crusader's moons.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, yeah, reciprocal just mentioned it. Topographic. I love it. It's absolutely great.
All right. Well, we are
Yeah,
going to
it's
get
got
this
that-
framed up and ready to put on. So.
Fight or Flight is my favorite Atmo branding for any of their events, as you can see from my apparel.
Yes.
Definitely. It's awesome. I love pink and purple, so I'm a big fan.
Here we go. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and check this out, and we'll go over everything that's inside this gorgeous PC. Let's power it on.
We ready?
Here we go. Oh.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that
wow.
looks amazing. That's absolutely incredible. So while he's adjusting the lights,
We'll get some pink and
while he's
purple
adjusting
for
the
you.
lights, let's go over once more everything that's inside this Atmo Star Citizen themed build. This is obviously, it's a Scarab 011 Mini Snow White Edition. This has an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D processor mounted on an ASUS Tough Gaming B650M motherboard. With 32 gigs of DDR5-6000 RAM and an RTX 4070, it is going to be exceedingly fun and powerful. The operating system is on a 2TB Samsung 980 Pro NVMe M.2 SSD, and of course, that's going to be cooled by both a CLX Quench 360 liquid cooler and 9 different GAMDIAS AEOLUS fans, all powered by that 750-watt Silverstone SFX 750 power supply, which is lit. Now, I do want to point out one thing that we haven't really talked about. Paul, where does this go and what happens? Because we do the same thing with all of our PCs. Explain to them how that works.
Yeah, so since this one's powered on, we'll treat this just like any other machine we build. So this is going to go to our testing and integration department once we're done here. The first thing we do is get into the BIOS. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but that's where we set our RAM speed, XMP, make sure all of our storage devices are showing up, and mess around with a couple other settings if we need to, depending on the build. After the BIOS is set, we'll get into the operating system. We'll make sure that's loaded. If you picked any games on the website, that's where we would do that. If you just picked an operating system, then you get just a fresh Windows install. We don't do any bloatware on our machines. You only get what you pick. And we really pride ourselves on that. It's always nice to just have a clean install and not have to uninstall a bunch of programs when you get your machine.
You open up your Windows and there's
just a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. And so after that, we'll stress test the system for 12 hours. We've got a few benchmarking softwares that we use, but the main one is 3D Mark. And what that allows us to do is maybe a component in here is faulty, allows the system to turn on, but starts to fail in a gaming environment. So that allows us to catch that here and fix that and make sure that you get a stable machine.
Commodore Deckard says, what if I want McAfee? Well, you know what? There's options and there's wrong options. But you know what?
Go get that
you do you, Google.
You get McAfee when you get the system.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you go somewhere else and get that.
It's a DIY.
For sure.
And welcome in Pod Daddy Sweezy, our winner for June, or for July. Hi, welcome in. Glad to see you. Congratulations once again on winning that brilliantly beautiful PC that's in the back corner right there. That was our last giveaway PC. But yeah, so with that being said, Jake, thank you so much for taking the afternoon to not only bring your community over here, but to, well, afternoon, morning-ish, depending on where you are.
It is now afternoon for me.
There we go.
Yeah.
to hang out with us. And for those of us in here who have not been part of the Star Citizens community, where can they find out about you? What's your socials at?
So my personal socials, I have unified branding. It's GKILL everywhere. So this right here, on Twitch, on Twitter, on Threads now, on Blue Sky, on everything. For Star Citizen, definitely check out our website, robertspaceindustries.com. There you can find out everything you need to know about Star Citizen, and it'll bring you to our socials as well. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I'm always happy to talk about Star Citizen, but also this build is incredible, and I want one very badly.
Right?
So, yeah.
It looks so good. All right, so this show is going to be happening in 2 portions. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, you're going to spend the rest of the afternoon with Hayden, who is going to be building several more PCs, and it's going to look absolutely incredible. I am going to be streaming some Star Citizen later on, but as a reminder, anytime you want to find out what's going on with CLX Gaming, all you got to do is check out our socials at CLX Gaming at YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also hang out in our community with other like-minded PC enthusiasts at discord.gg/CLX Gaming. So with that being said, for Kyle and Jason in production, Jake, Paul, and Hayden, I'm DJ BluePDX. Thanks so much for watching, and don't go away. We've got more coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.